Greetings, fellow humans. Since I still haven't bought myself a microphone, this will have to do for now so that you can hear me clear. I often hear that the audio is a bit low. My apologies. So, this is the JD Estrada Writer Journey notebook, and it has served for taking notes for conferences and ideas for different stuff, and it also includes booktube and authortube notes. I was looking around the notebook, ye old notebook, and I said, why not do a discussion video for AuthorTube, BookTube? Um, and it is very apropos um, to align with the blog and certain things that I've been doing. And I have been writing. And I just wanted to discuss a bit about the challenges of being an indie author. Um, there are some wonderful things, wonderful freedoms, wonderful um, gifts that you're gonna get if you become an indie author. There are challenges, obviously. Some people, it's not that they play the game and whatnot. It's a combination of luck and just proper strategy and doing things right. That and they have success. And again, however each of us defines success, that's going to vary. But for most of us, it's a struggle. And there are a lot of challenges. So I'm just gonna go over like 5 or 6 of the main challenges that I find being an indie author. So first off is finding having people give you a chance. Having people give you a chance is not the easiest thing to do for several reasons. First off, everyone has to do more with less, and money, it doesn't grow on trees, and you can't buy everything. So convincing someone to use some of their hard-earned cash to buy one of your books, well, it's a challenge. Luckily for me in Puerto Rico, people have been very, very kind and generous to me. Stateside, people are warming up a bit more, a bit more, a bit more. But I do have people that rate me throughout the world, and it's a curious thing because it gets you to wonder why did that X or Y person decide to give you a chance, but it's not as easy with other people, or what keeps other people from buying your books. And in the end, I just think it's the circumstances. There are definitely several hurdles that you have to jump through. And you have to prove yourself to a lot of people that you're not in it, you're in it to win it. You're going to be there for the long run. You're not just a one off. And that you're going to give your best every single time that you go out. Even Stephen King, even everyone can have like a clunker of a book, and that happens. But you keep going, you keep pushing, you keep giving your best, even if you miss the mark. The mark. As long as you're happy with what you wrote, that's a mark. That it's not the market. You didn't connect with the market. Whatever. Um, but again, just having people give you a chance, because there's so many people, there are so many content creators, there are so many authors, there are so many musicians, there are so many people creating constantly that having someone give you a shot, man, it ain't easy. And although it ain't easy, it can and does happen eventually. And it's, you either chip, or eventually there's like a big breakthrough or something. For me, it's been a slow burn, and it slowly builds, um, and then you find people that bust your balls and go like, "Where's book three? Where's the rest?" and stuff like that. And to me, it's been a very rewarding and random experience because that's taking into consideration people that don't know you. For people that know you to give you a break, that's also a challenge because getting your friends or coworkers or stuff, they can get enthused, but for them to give you a shot, it's not always easy. And again, I've been very fortunate for that, but I've seen other people that have struggled monumentally. Um, it's not to say that every person I've ever worked with has bought a book. If that were the case, I would be, you know, in good standings to have that be my career, but that's not the case. But I have had several people buy my books. But yeah, just having someone give you a chance, that's quite the challenge. Second one, juggling everything. Juggling everything is psychotic. Um, you know, I'm a brother, I'm a husband, I have a job, I'm a friend, yada 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 yada, and I want to do everything. I want to please everyone, and that's always a recipe for disaster. But um, if you're an indie author and you're starting out, odds are pretty much guaranteed that you're doing something. Your side hustle is your hustle, and you want to see if you can get your writing be your side hustle and eventually switch places. Um, I'm still working on that, but juggling everything in terms of time and responsibilities and energy. Oh Lord, sometimes you're just drained and have no idea how to keep going, and then you look back and realize you kept going and there's progress being made. So that's fantastic. Um, but yeah, having a day job is not easy because even though you may enjoy it, even though you might do it with passion, there's a part of you that wishes that you could dedicate yourself fully to writing, and that's not a bad thing for any side of the equation. Um, and it's being realistic. Paying the bills with books would be fantastic, but wow, that's a tall order. And some people would go like, "Yeah, I got my book. I'm gonna publish it in 5 years. I should be set." And it's like, yeah, I hope you've got a plan. I hope you've got connections, and I wish you the best of luck. Because again, a lot of it, I do think it has to do with luck, and just being at the right place at the right time and connecting with the right people, and connecting with groups of people. That would be epic. So there's that. More challenges because why stop there? Sales. Getting a sale. You would be surprised at how challenging it is, or at least it is for me. Sometimes it happens because it happens, and sometimes you put all the effort and you don't see dividends, and you go like, okay. Um, and I've had events in Puerto Rico, and I've had one event stateside. I'm gonna have another one soon, and I'll tell you about that in another video. But April, if you're in Atlanta, we might have a date. Anywho, sales, it's a challenge because, again, convincing someone to not spend $5 or $6 on a coffee and spend it on two of your ebooks is harder than it seems. Um, it is what it is, and you can't change it. You can influence it. You can keep doing it with passion and joy, and with as much to the best of your abilities to hopefully convince people. But it's a hard sell. And again, sometimes I do a sale, and it's like trickle economics, and then I do something with like a minimum sale, and boom, I get like 10 sales here. And for me, 10 sales is huge. For some people, 10 sales is like what they did in the morning, and it's like good for them. But for me, every sale is a victory, and every review is a victory. Speaking of which, reviews. I've been at this since 2013. 2014 physically, 2013 I released digitally. Getting 50 reviews on Amazon would mean that you would show up on a lot more searches, and you would get a lot more exposure. Getting to 50 reviews. I have 31 in my most popular book. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy. And there's a lot of people selling scams in terms of reviews. And if you get offered, someone to do unlimited reviews on Goodreads and other places that aren't monitored, please think twice before taking that offer. I'm not going to say no. Who knows? Maybe that'll lead to success. Maybe if you respond to a spam email about rupees, you'll become extremely rich because you helped someone allocate funds because they're a prince from somewhere. Yeah, that's possible. It's possible. Highly unlikely, but possible. Anywho, reviews are a challenge, and getting people to review your work is quite the challenge. Um, but it's when you see a review, and if you're an indie author, you're gonna see the reviews, good and bad. And we can talk about that later. But just getting reviews, it's hard. It's hard, and people take for granted how much influence, power, and positive power they have to push forward someone's career with one review. One review can make the difference between not showing up in searches and showing up in hundreds and thousands of searches. So reviews are a challenge. If anyone wants to make it less of a challenge, by all means, the links to my books are down below. Feel free to, buy and review. I would greatly appreciate that. And also, don't throw me a bone. If I suck, by all means, let me know I suck. But if you like it, let me know that you liked it. So there's that. Events. Again, events. I've had mixed results. Since I've been going to the Puerto Rico Comic Con for several years, people know me, and some people were actually. There was one year that I didn't go, 2018. They're like, "Man, last year when I went, man, I missed you last year. It's so good to see you back." And people like that are happy to support, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to experience. Honestly, people have no idea how much that warms the heart and fuels the fire to keep pushing and keep going for it. So thank you to everyone who has said that and who cares, who genuinely cares. That it makes quite a difference. But finding events, getting the money to pay for the events, breaking even is a challenge. Breaking even is a hell of a challenge, and I didn't know how much of a challenge it was until I went to the Atlanta Comic Con. Atlanta Comic Con, I did not break even. And it was a struggle because of how the event is organized, and because I'm a Puerto Rican indie author in a relatively new, or pretty new comic convention. It was its second year in Atlanta. So, and in the place where I was situated, also might have had an impact, but I think I had great exposure. And people were very nice and very kind and very talkative, but getting a sale there was a challenge. Just figuring out what works for you, what works for your books. It's a doozy, and I'm gonna find out in April if I do better in the next event that I do stateside. Who knows? But in events, it's also quite the challenge because. I try to be open, I try to be forthcoming, and try to get on at least one panel, and it is uphill. To get on a live panel on an event, if you don't know anyone, it's borderline impossible. It's like a really tight-knit clique, and if you're not part of the clique, you're not going to get in. I wish I could get on more live panels. I would happily do them. I would happily give my perspective as a bilingual Latino author living stateside. There's a lot of stuff there, and I think I can offer like at least a different perspective from the norm. But that's me. I have done. I did a panel at DragonCon, not last year, 2018, and that was a lot of fun. The crowd was highly passionate, and it was an interesting dynamic, but it was cool. And to round that out and not waffle on too much longer, because we're already almost at 15 minutes, I think on another thing that is a challenge as an indie author is fatigue. You have to push so many things at the same time and keep everything going at the same time and keep everything functional at the same time, that, man, it's, sometimes you're tired. Sometimes you're exhausted. And sometimes you don't know that you have a second win in you, and you have a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, eighth, ninth, umpteenth wind, and you keep going. But fatigue is a challenge. So I'm gonna leave it here. Give me your thoughts on the ones that on the challenges that I shared. Do you share any of these challenges? Or are there other things that you think are more challenging, or at least more challenging to you? By all means, use that sexy comment section down below, and let's chat it up. And for now, till the next time, peace, love, and maki rolls.